Hi friends, my name is Deb Atchison and I run the Certified Instructor Program here at Legit Kits. And as you may already know, one of the amazing patterns Legit Kits has is Starry Night. I am a little bit of a fan, if you can't tell. This is one of my absolute favorite quilts, and I'm excited to do it along with you. I actually tested the pattern when it became available, and all I have completed are the blocks that I tested, but they're beautiful and I need to finish it. So you are going to be my motivation and I'm going to be your motivation and your instructions to get this kit finished. So if you aren't aware, the block of the month is on sale right now and will go on sale until March 1st or 2nd. So what are you waiting for? Go to the link I'm going to drop below and order the block of the month. The cool thing is it comes in bite-sized pieces. So you're going to get an envelope like this every month that has all of the things that you need. So we're going to just ditch this guy right here. We have month 1, and then you will go all the way to month 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So all bite-sized chunks. You got a month to do it. Actually, you got a little bit longer because you can take as long as you want to. But every month, I'm going to jump on and I'm going to show you how we put together month 1 and then month 2 and so on all the way till we get to month 6, which is going to ship out in August. So when you purchase block of the month, the first month is going to ship out to you around March 11th. So around that time, you should be getting your kit. And don't worry, especially if this is your first time, I will walk you through everything you need to know to complete this beautiful quilt. And I will take it in small bite-sized chunks so you can start and stop and watch and rewind and sew right along with me. Now, each month is going to be considered a sew along, but really, do you want to sit and watch me take an hour or 2 or however long it takes me to sew up this kit? No, you really don't. So what I'm going to do is break it down into chunks. I'm going to show you how we get organized first. I'm going to tell you all about your kits. And then I'm going to take you through a month at a time. I'm going to tell you what to look out for, what to be careful with. And I'm going to walk you through the steps to complete that month. But you're not going to have to watch me for a couple of hours sew, because who wants to do that? You want to sew, right? But you'll be able to stop and start this video as often as you want. So I'm super excited. Again, this is one of my favorites. Of course, I say that about a lot of Legit kits. So it's usually whichever kit I'm working on is my favorite, but really this kind of is at the very top of the list. In fact, when Mike was rolling out the David quilt, if you've seen the David quilt front and back, he was teasing that it's a famous work of art. And I'm like, oh, please, please be Starry Night. And sure enough, a few months later, here comes Starry Night. So I'm super excited. This is just a panel behind me. It's not the actual thing. The actual thing is way more vibrant and brilliant than what you're seeing behind me, but I thought it would be a great backdrop. So let's talk about, once you purchase your block of the month, each month you're going to get an entire kit. So I'm going to walk you through what goes in that kit, what you can expect, and kind of tell you how some of those things work so that when you get that first kit, you are ready to get started. So let me switch over to my camera and we'll talk about what's in this lovely little package. All right, so as you can see, these are blocks. I believe this was month 3 that I was testing, so you can see just how beautiful they are. But we're just going to set those aside because we're not there yet. And let's open this package and see what we have here. So this is month 1. I'm going to pull it all out, and oh, one of my favorite things that we get each quilt that we purchase from Legit Kits is a magnet. Now these work great if you have metal machines. You can stick them to the side, or your file cabinet. A lot of people file all their extra fabric in a file cabinet, and so it's kind of like a trophy. So stick this up on your file cabinet and enjoy that you're going to accomplish this beautiful quilt. So let's turn this over here and let's take a look. Oops, some of my fabric is falling out. We'll get to that beautiful fabric here in a moment. But when you open each month, you're going to see this first page here that's telling you what we're doing. We're on month 1, Van Gogh Design, Starry Night. And if you'll notice over here, this section we're working on is 7.5 by 20 inches. So we're really working on 2 blocks, and those 2 blocks will total that length. And this month we have 41 colors of fabric we're working with, and we have 80 pieces, individual small pieces that we will be doing. You'll have a lot of little hashtags if you want to promote this on social media. That is a great way to go about doing it. So I'll just kind of hold these up so we can kind of reduce the glare. So in your first month, and only your first month, are you going to have a picture of the entire quilt? So this will be all 16 blocks once we get it all put together. But for month 2, we're really only working on 2 blocks. But this makes a great motivator to hang up on your design wall so you can see what it is you're going to be creating. Also, some people like to put this in a sleeve and then draw on it to kind of plan what their design will be for the quilt itself. That we're going to set aside. Also in month 1, and only in month 1, are you going to get a completed diagram of the entire 16 blocks. So you can see here, this is the pattern side of the whole entire quilt. And then you will also get a finished quilt piece as well. So when we look at these, we are actually sewing on our pattern. We're sewing on the back of a piece of paper. That's our foundation, and that's what makes our paper piecing work so well. So we're going to be sewing on the back of the quilt. So that's why we have a pattern side. This would be my pattern side. So that would be, if I were on the right month, that would be this, what I'm seeing on the back side of my quilt. Okay, and then the finished quilt is going to be the front side of our block. Next, you actually have a section of that entire quilt that you're making. So this is actually 4 blocks, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. The top 2 are brighter. Those are the 2 that we are making. Those are the ones that we're going to make in month 1. Later in the month, we'll finish these 2 blocks down here to finish the 4 blocks. And just in case you don't know, Starry Night is a 30 by 40 quilt, and there's a total of 16 blocks. So month 2, we're going to tackle blocks A1 and A2. So let me just jump back for a second and show you the pattern side of this. Notice we have A, B, C, D going down the left, 1, 2, 3, 4 going across the top. These are our rows and our columns. And so the blocks we are working on for month 1 is A1 and A2. So it's these 2 blocks here. This little section is what we're making in month 1. All right, moving right along, you have the same thing. You have the pattern side for blocks A1 and 2, and you have the finished quilt sides for blocks A1 and A2. Notice they're reversed because obviously we're sewing on the back side. So when we flip the quilt over, it's going to be a reverse image. But don't worry about that. We'll deal with that as we go through the different months. All right, next you're going to have a list of all of the fabrics that you have. The nice thing about this list is if you want to organize these in some ways where you need a label like file folders or something like that, you can just copy this page on a page of labels and it fits perfectly on those Avery labels. But you see every color that's here, you have this in gradient order. And the reason why you have it in gradient order is because you could buy from Legit Kit just a pattern and use your own stash. And so you could pick out the blues, all these blues in your stash that you have, and put them in gradient order if you wanted to use your stash. Personally, I do have a big stash, but not that big normally, nor do I want to source as many fabrics as we have in most of our Legit Kits quilts. So this one has 80 pieces of fabrics just in these first 2 months. I don't want to have to worry with that. So I love having the kit. And because you're doing the block of the month, you have the kit as well. So you have that for all of your different colors. And then you have an alphabetical listing of all of your colors that you need and what size piece of material you will need as well. Behind that, you have what we call our assembly guides. So all of these blocks in Starry Night are made up by little pieces. So if I look at this one, This is piece A1F, A1A, A1B, etc. And when we get all of those pieces made, we'll come back to this. We're not going to worry about it now, but we will come back to this and we will go down this order to put our blocks in the correct order. So you're going to have one of these assembly guides for every block that has pieces that needs to be put together. And then next you have what we call the cut guide. Some people use these, some people don't. When we get into month one, I'll explain to you how I use it, but you will have one for each piece of fabric that you have in your kit. And it's going to tell you what pieces in your pattern get cut out of that cut guide. So don't worry, it looks crazy and confusing, but I'll help you make it all make sense. So you're going to have a lot of these, because what did we say? There's 40 pieces of fabric, so we're going to have 40 different pages or half pages. So we're going to set those aside. Now we are at, well, I say the best part, but it's all good. I love everything about the way Legit Kits puts their patterns together. But what you have here are the pattern pages. You don't have to print the pattern yourself. You don't have to go to office supply store and get them printed. Legit provides that for you, and it's on a little bit darker paper. You can see it's really, really thin newsprint paper, so it makes it super easy to rip this off when we're done with the final product and we want to tear all that paper off. So you've got one for every single piece you're going to need, and for these two blocks we have 6 pages of pattern pieces. And I don't see in mine, but you will have in yours. I'm still working from my tester kit. I don't see a little instruction manual, but you will have an instruction manual that walks you through your kit, walks you through everything that you need to know to put this together. But don't worry, you got me, so you don't need that. When you get to this beautiful fabric, after you stop fondling it and hugging it, then what you will notice is there's several different sizes, and everything is in alphabetical order by size. So all of these pieces that are fragments, we can put all of those together. We can stack this pile together, and all of these beautiful fabrics are all labeled starting with the letter, A, going through the alphabetical order. Okay. So then you have your next set of fabrics, this 5.5 by 9 inch scraps. These are also in alphabetical order by size. And then you have your larger pieces that you will use as well. So what we will do when we talk about organizing is we will put all of this in alphabetical order. So we'll have our AC would be first, and then we would have our AD over here so that we can get organized and we can find what we need when we need it. But we'll do that in the next video where we talk about organizing. All right, so let's take a look at some of the tools that I use to complete my Legit Kits. Now, full disclosure, I am a gadget girl. If there is a gadget that's going to help me do a better job at making my Legit Kits quilts, then I'm all for it. Some people, though, just need a pair of scissors and a sewing machine, and they are good to go. So you be you, and I'm going to show you what I use, and hopefully you'll find some of those things helpful as well. All right, so let's take a look at some of these tools. Now, straight pins, you will always need some straight pins and some clips when we go to put our pieces together. So make sure you have some of those. Doesn't matter anything particular about them. You do want some pins so that have a little bit of body to them, not some really thin pins, because those may bend as you're putting them through all those seams you're going to sew together. Some matte tape, just regular Scotch matte tape will work, and we're going to only use this when we tear a piece of our pattern, or if we have to bring Jack the Ripper out and we have to tape our pattern back together. But match tape works beautifully because you can iron over it. It doesn't cause a problem with your iron. Okay, so keep that in mind. Some people, though, prefer to use washi tape. It's a little bit thinner, and you can sew right through that as well as this, or iron on it. So some kind of tape for when we need to tape things back together. We will need some really good tweezers. I got these from Linda's Electric Quilters in McKinney, Texas, just right down the road, by the way. I love these because they have a nice little point on the end. So when we're pulling out all those little bits of paper, it will pull those out beautifully. Rotary cutters. Some people, again, like to use scissors. I'm a rotary cutter gal, so whichever one is your favorite, you can use that. I do take my old blades when I'm done with this blade that's in this cutter. I will take it out and put it in one that I've marked just for paper. So when I am cutting out all of my pattern pieces, we're going to cut these out when we get to organizing, then I can just use this. It saves a little bit of wear and tear on my regular rotary cutter. But your blade will go duller faster because as we are cutting our pieces out, we will be cutting through paper with our rotary blade. So just make sure you have a supply of really good fresh new blades. Double-sided roll-on sticky tape. Some people like to use glue stick when they're using their first piece of fabric, and it'll make more sense when we get into it. But my problem with using glue stick, and I do like this repositionable one, is I would leave the lid off and then I end up wasting a bunch of glue sticks. So I like the double-sided roll-on tape because I can just roll it right across my pattern piece. It allows my fabric to stick but pulls off when it needs to. Now I bought this cheap brand on Amazon and it works. I also like the Scotch brand. It works really well as well. I have bought some in a blue container that when I would iron over it, would leave little marks. So whichever one you get, test it out before you do use a lot of it on your pieces. So double-sided roll-on tape saved me a ton of time once I learned about this. You will use add a quarter rulers, at least in my classes we use them. So we have an add a quarter plus, and it comes in the smaller size as well as the larger size. It comes in yellow, comes in pink. I like the ones that say plus because notice this is an add an eighth ruler, and you will use that too on some of these Starry Night pieces where we have a bunch of seams coming together. It's nice to have a smaller seam line. Well, I don't know what I was thinking, but when we trim down our pieces, sometimes if we've got a lot of pieces coming together, we'll use an add an eighth. But notice how it doesn't have, it's pretty blunt on the side. Whereas when we get these that say add a quarter plus, they're nice and smooth on the side. So we will use these for a couple of things. We will use them for when we trim our pieces, and I'll talk you through that, so don't worry. But you can also use them to fold the lines on your pattern pieces. So we will fold all of our pieces just to make that process easier. And because it's got this flat piece right here, it makes it really easy to fold our pattern pieces when we need it. Another thing really good for folding your pattern pieces is that don't panic card that I didn't show you that will come in your kit. And it's a good reminder. Don't panic. Deb is here. I got you. So don't worry. Don't panic. So you can use that to fold, or Legit Kit has some of these folding rulers, and that's their whole purpose, is to help you when you are folding your pattern pieces on the line. Okay, so this is a great tool for you as well. Couple of rulers. You don't need all of them, but it is nice to have your add a quarter in two different sizes because in your Starry Night block, we're working with smaller pieces. But when we go to put the whole blocks together, this larger ruler will come in handy. Legit Kit also has a square up ruler. So when we finish our blocks, we can square them up to size 7.5 by 10. So you can get that from their website as well if you would like. And then let's talk thread. People always ask me, thread, Deb, what thread do you use? And this is the thread that I use. Wonderfeel is the brand name, and they make a thread called Deco Bob. And when I usually tell people about it, they go, what? They get all a little freaked out because it is an 80 weight thread. So it's super, super thin. But the beauty of it being thin is that when we have a lot of seams coming together, our thread's not adding a lot of bulk. Okay, so that's really, really helpful. It's super thin, doesn't add a lot of bulk, but it is very strong. So it is nice when we are tearing off those papers when we finally get finished and we get to that point. It doesn't rip out the seams that we've sewn. Okay, so I love this. It's very strong, very thin. And I picked these three colors. I thought they might be good choices for our Starry Night quilt. You don't have to change your thread out. I don't. I pick one color and go with it for the whole quilt. So I usually will stitch in something like a gray, this soft gray here, or like a beige. But for Starry Night, we've got a lot of blue in this quilt. So we can also get away with stitching our pieces together with this blue thread as well. All right, the last thing I'm going to show you is a tool that I can't live without, and that is my Caterpillar Glow Cutting Mat. I just have the small one here. It works perfectly. It's about the size of our blocks from our Legit Kit. Very small. It does have to be plugged in. I don't use this one as often as I use the one by my machine, because the one by my machine comes with a clear mat. So notice this has all of these lines, which is nice if you're doing paper crafting, but I can't wait till they come out with a clear mat for this model. Because what's nice about having the mat on top of your light board is that I can cut my fabric right here on the board, and I don't have to worry about damaging the light board underneath. So Caterpillar, excellent. If you decide you need one of those, like I need the gadget, you need the gadget, then you can go to caterpillar.com and you can use discount code Deb, and you will save 15%, I believe. It might be 10, but I think it's 15% off your purchase. All right, so those are the tools that I use. And again, you don't have to use the same tools I use, but I find they make my life a little bit easier. And oh, I did forget one tool. Hold on. All right, so this is my last tool, my favorite tool. This is an office alphabetizer. You can just get them off of Amazon. I have so many of them. I order them when they go on sale all the time. It's basically, you open it up. I like the ones with the holes because it's easy for me to flip them over, but it's got a letter down the side for each letter. Some of them share, but this is what I use to organize my fabric and organize my kit, my pattern pieces and my fabric. Once I started doing this, it makes just completing my kit so much faster. So when we get to month 1 and we start talking about it, I'll teach you how to use this. They're anywhere between $8 and $20 online. You don't have to have one, but to me, I find this works the best because I organize all my Legit kits this way. Big patterns, little patterns, doesn't matter. It's perfect for Starry Night. We'll organize month 1. When month 2 comes in, we'll repeat that same process. Okay, so that's one more tool. I'm so glad I didn't forget, because I would be so mad if I didn't tell you about it. And guess what? There's one more tool I forgot about, and that is starch. So when we get to organizing our kits, one of the first things I do is starch my fabric. It makes that a little bit easier to handle in the process. So you can use your favorite brand of starch. Starch you get at Walmart, starch you make yourself. Some people make it with vodka, not me. I like the Magic Craft spray by the folks that do the Faultless starch. It works beautifully for me. It's my favorite, but you can use Best Press. You can use whatever you have on hand. So add starch and this handy dandy little organizer. And in the next video, I'll show you how all those tools work together to get your month 1 organized. All right. Thanks for taking this ride with me, and I look forward to seeing you at month 1. Stay legit, friends.